Right, enterprise performance. About 15 years ago we started analysing the performance of enterprises on in-farm businesses. Now, most of us do this when we're thinking at the start of the year. We look at the gross margin, we look at what wheat's looking like, what the price outlook's like, and all that sort of stuff, and have a bit of a punt about where we're going. We've found that recording that historically, actually how you went over a long time, is probably one of the most valuable things that we do. So, and it's one of the biggest influences you have on your business. The decision on what you grow and the rotations that you run on a yearly basis can have a fair bit of impact on what you do and your outcomes for the year. So we've been measuring this enterprise performance, and I'm going to talk you through a little bit what we do there, and I've got a couple of examples of what clients use that information to do. Has everyone here measured enterprise performance? Everyone tell me what made the most money last year? Yep, pretty easy. No, maybe. Sheep made the most money last year?
Barley.
Barley, right. Surely it's the same thing for everyone?
No, just cattle and lambs.
Cattle and lambs? Get out of your cattle, no way. Come on, they've been losing money for 10 years. It's been awesome the last 12 months for cattle, that's for sure. So, but those things, I think the important things there is that it's not the same for everyone. What actually happens in your farm for a whole lot of different reasons, including management, but also soil type and rainfall, is quite different from what happens everywhere else. So no one else has the information about how things perform in your farm. So if you take the discipline and measure that, over time it'll build a really good picture about the sort of things you can be flexible about in your farming business. So, measuring enterprise performance, it's a bit difficult. It takes a little bit of discipline. I mean, it's not onerous, but it takes discipline. So you set a time each year, you sit down and you go, right, how did we go? Where did we make money? Overall, how much money did we make? And then you record that and say, well, all the enterprises have performed like this, and this is how we've gone. This is what we're budgeting going forwards. Now, everyone does a budget. So what we do is turn the budget into enterprise profit performance for next year. Very quickly shows you where, maybe you've decided, look, I'll drop the profit back a little bit this year. All of a sudden, your sheep enterprise is performing poorly because you haven't actually geared up sheep to take advantage of that. So there's a whole lot of planning that gets involved in doing that. So it takes a bit of discipline. It's not a tax profit, as you'd be aware. Tax profit and how you actually went for a season are often quite different things. So we'll have the accounting fellas in a bit to talk more about that side of things. But this farming profit is not a tax profit, and it's important to distinguish that because quite often you know you've had a crap year, and you get to tax year, and you're paying tax, and you just go, no mate, this doesn't make any sense. It's that whole timing thing that you guys will be right over anyway. So actually working out how you've gone as a farm business on a seasonal basis, I think is really important. Obviously there's seasonal adjustments required in that. So if you bought fertiliser last year in April, but this year the best time to buy it would be in December, well obviously you haven't bought 2 years fertiliser in one. So you've got to pull some costs into the out of season and make sure that you're actually talking about what you actually made. Your grain sales, that might be happening next year, a grain you grew this year. So let's value that grain, and next year let's come back and see how you actually sold it, and then we'll update that profit for the last year. So you've got a real record going forward. So allowances in there as well. In the enterprise performance, most people talk about gross margin, right? Gross margin is not actually really useful in a mixed farming business for making decisions about what enterprise you run. Because obviously, cropping's got a whole lot of machinery tied up with it that the livestock don't have. So we've got to talk profit level. So we talk profit before interest. So we allow for drawings, or actually make a commercial rate, which is a management allowance. We allow for depreciation at 10%. But cropping depreciation is paid for by the cropping, and the livestock depreciation is paid for by the livestock. There's some items that are shared, so we make some adjustments around that, but it's about the allowances. There's fixed overheads in the business, like your very expensive accountant, no doubt very cheap consultant, of course. You in trouble with that? So there's those overhead costs. They're obviously not cropping costs, and they're not livestock costs. So we share those on a per hectare basis across both those enterprises. If you're leasing a farm, is it just a cropping lease? Sure, it gets paid by the crop. But if it's a lease in a farm that's a systems, part of just your overall business, then we allocate the cost of that lease cost across the business. When you get down to the finances, you know, it doesn't actually answer most of your questions, right? Because you've got rotational benefits between those enterprises. But it gives you a starting base to say, well, this is the difference in performance, and we'll have a bit of a talk about that. What does that mean in terms of the rotation decisions they make? Right, so I'm taking a farm which is 360 mil rainfall, right? Who here farms on 360 mils or less annual rainfall? Right, no one. So we're all medium to high rainfall farms. Okay, we'll go there instead, eh? Oh yeah, 468 mils annual rainfall. I mean, do I have to talk about this in inches? I mean, that might make it really easy for you fellas. No? No? Okay, just checking. Okay. 18 inches, yeah? Right, yeah? So, it's just always a bit of a gauge of how we're going. Okay, so this is a fella in Hopetown, Nesperance. So, here's his last 10 years of wheat yield, right? And this is his growing season rainfall. So, the growing season rainfall is April to October rainfall, plus any subsoil moisture adjusted for evaporation, and unless any October rainfall was just too late, there was no use in that year. Right, yeah? So it's a growing season rainfall. And his yield, so what's his average yield? He's done better than 3.5 tonne 3 times, he's been over 3 tonne 4 times in 10 years, so it's about 2.7, 2.8 tonne type wheat yield environment. So does that look pretty typical for a 468 mil rainfall? Depends when you get it, absolutely. Yeah, it can be a bit savage. He hasn't actually had one of those bloody millennium drought jobbies in this period because he's fairly close to the coast. Well, you actually see the ocean from his place. So he's probably been a little bit lucky. In fact, all the Espen zone in the last 10 years has been a very, very common place to be. Okay, just give you a bit of background of his business. What I'm going to show you now is this fella's rotations for the last 10 years. Right. So don't worry too much about trying to focus on the numbers there, but what I've got is, this is wheat in the green, barley in the black, lupins in red, canola in yellow, field peas, chickpeas, sheep, and cattle. He's had a weak moment, he's gone back to cattle, but we'll talk about that. Right, so we started measuring this a long time ago, right? When I first started with this business, the canola area was about 200 hectares and the field pea area was 1,000 hectares because rotationally he was growing field peas because he picked up benefit in his wheat, his canola, obviously, right? Okay, that's why you do it. And that's fine. What we worked out fairly quickly though, that with canola performing at this sort of level, which is around, what's that number there, is that 200? So with canola ticking around this sort of $200 a hectare profit margin, and field peas ticking along at something like minus 100, maybe minus 120, the gap between here and here is $300 a hectare. Okay, and he said, well, that's right, don't worry about it. I've made it up for my wheat. Okay, so what's the wheat? What's the benefit you get in your wheat out there? Easy to get 300 kilos. Okay. Now $300 a hectare. There's a bit of nitrogen benefit from that, right? What's the nitrogen benefit from field pea price? Anyone got an idea? How many bucks a hectare is it worth? 25 to 35 bucks a hectare nitrogen. So there's a bit of nitrogen benefit in there, right? Which means if you take off a little bit for nitrogen benefit, you've got 280 bucks a hectare, which if you're getting, for example, 240 bucks a tonne for your wheat, you've got to go 1.2 tonne better in your wheat program to pay for this field pea crop. But we're all doing it because from an agronomy perspective, we need lead into the system, right, which I don't dispute. But the economic gap between those two enterprises is just unsustainable. Well, not unsustainable, he was making good money. But he could have made a hell of a lot more money. Okay? So we stopped growing field peas in 2009. In the last 5, 6, 7 years, we calculated it's about $1.5 million better off in his business, just for that one decision. Okay? But he doesn't grow any field peas, is agronomists really pushing on lupins. There's only a couple hundred hectares of lupins in the program, so it's not big. But he sort of goes in and does it, and yeah, it's all right. Doesn't do it, does it, doesn't do it. So he does a little bit, and he likes to have lupins because they're easy to sell on farm. Business hire, that sort of good mess around with. It's not a big part of the program. But big change was going from here, and chickpeas are the same story. Every now and then they'll crack it. 2007, obviously, the prices were enormously high. Everyone could have a win growing anything. But on average, you just weren't profitable enough. So stopped doing these things and reallocated basically a third of the program to canola. And that's been awesomely profitable. And when we sit down with agronomists once a year, we have this debate about it. You know, you get right into legumes, we need these legumes. We go, okay, look, bottom line is $1.5 million better off. If it all goes to shit and we need to grow legumes, we just go back and grow legumes. Easy. We're still ahead. Okay? At the moment, I've got a couple of fellas that be about 40 k's away from here who run a wheat canola rotation and have for 15 years. Unsustainable. Weeds will kill you. Can't do it. It's going to destroy your soil. It's an awesomely profitable rotation. Okay? And if things really go to shit, well, we find another alternative. At the moment, it's going on really, really well. But if you're in that game, you're in, and particularly in the 100% cropping game, and you guys know if you're in 100% cropping, anyone 100% cropping here? No one, we're all mixed, got a couple here. If you're in a 100% cropping game, your business is weed, seed, sector, crop. No mistake. Don't worry about anything else. That's the business you're in. So if you manage that well, then you'll get along just fine. Now, no further south, there's some fellas who grow veg hay, and that's basically a 100% cropping system with veg hay. Veg hay for them is very, very profitable. They've got a weed break, they don't have to worry about things like chaff carts and stuff like that. If you haven't got a hay option, then you'll be messing around hopefully with chaff carts and stuff, chaff decks and tram lines or all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's just part of the business you're in. So these guys have gone really well for measuring that profit. There was a sheep for a long time. It's actually not a very big enterprise. Mum sort of loves the sheep, and he hasn't really been able to kick them out. But a bit of succession change now. He's taken over the whole business, and the sheep are gone. And he's gone and taken on a lease operation next door where they've got a restriction on pasture. And I like cattle, so he's got some cattle in there. Awesome year last year, to start out buying new cows. So that's all right too. Does that make sense? And see any warning signs about that graph? Anything there, if that's your business, if you're looking at going, no.
Also short that we look right now.
Yep. Yeah, okay, so a couple of things going on here. Number one, we're talking about esperance. So we've got about 500 k's from the nearest sheep yard. So straight away, if you're trading, you're in our cost. If you're selling, you've got our cost, which is straight away a bit more challenging. You would expect, and I've got some enterprises I've shown a bit that are pretty profitable in their sheep and cattle operations. So, again, it's the whole thing, it's the environment, it's management, it's what you like doing. He's never liked the sheep, he's never going to run them very well. So you've never really given them the focus they need. It's pretty much left mum to run them. But interestingly enough, when you sit down and look at the margins over long term, and you'll find there's a lot of the low rainfall zone, and notice here, there's not a lot of livestock in low rainfall zones because they just can't sustain a good enough stocking rate to run sheep. And the last 10 years, the big change for certainly us from Western Australia has been this exodus out of sheep, and the guys hanging on to sheep in that environment were saying, well, we're in a low rainfall environment, so we grow up at slow risk. Okay? And that's valid, right? Definitely low risk. There's a lot more money to run a livestock enterprise you actually put out up front each year compared to cropping enterprise. And we've still got to own the sheep, so there's an expense they might die, right? But there's a lot more money invested in the cropping. The problem you've got is over 10 years, if your cropping's $200 a hectare more profitable than your sheep, over the longer term, you're just losing a lot of money. So there's two things you're looking at. One is short term, I don't want to go broke. Great, no problem, let's get that sorted first. Let's make sure we don't go broke, all right? But if you're doing something that's unsustainable for a long period of time, you're just getting behind everyone else. If your sheep enterprise is performing really well and your cropping's not, great, that's easy, but know what that is for your business. the things that concerning this client, well, he's pretty excited about his wheat yields. So even though he's taking his field peas out of the rotation, he's going on the canola stubbles, his wheat yield's going up. So that's a pretty good sign. I think the agronomist doesn't believe it. Well, we know he doesn't believe it. It's going awesomely, really. He's quite happy. You can see the decision's been right. The one that's concerning is this one here. This has got a declining trend, and what we've got our mind around is that is it disease, is it the black leg, what's going on there? That's really driving it. It doesn't seem to be black leg, but yeah, we're not sure if that's. Having said that, we did this review in December. Here's 2015 result. We had about 300 kilos of canola on the ground from heavy winds that were involved in that fire at Esperance this year. So, the result should have been up here, but still, that's the way it is. That's where the numbers are. So that's a bit of a challenge for them. Oh yeah. Now, Hope Town's 200 kilometres west of Esperance. Okay. So heading that way from Esperance. All right. Conia is also on the coast, but it's 150 k's east of Esperance, so closer to here. Right. But their rainfall's is a fair more, like an extra couple inches of rain. And they run a bit of risk. 2013 for them was a very wet year. And when it's wet, they come unstuck. In this business, they've got a 2/3 cropping rotation with a third in pasture. Cattle Enterprise was the most profitable enterprise last year. Canola second. Over the last 5 years, it's been right up there. But they do it really well. They're right in the grazing. There's a lot of crop grazing. They graze on the crop for a very short period of time and move them on. So it's quite intensive. But they do about 1,300 tonne silage a year. So they've just got this big reserve. They use it up, they just fill up what they need each year and keep it full all the time. So they're really intense about the livestock. They do it really well, and if I went around telling you that livestock didn't make money, well, they clearly do if you're in that system and you're running it pretty well. But ultimately, you need to know your numbers. If these weren't, at times, the sheep one's been under question down there. Now they are further from a market, in terms of transport than nearly any other place in the country. Right? Well, not quite, but at times the sheep one's been challenged. But they can run a good stocking rate, and gee, when the price jump pops up, she goes off. It's pretty good. These ones in the middle here have got pasture, hay and silage. Now, what we do in these mixed farming enterprises is we put a value on that base. Now, what we've done is we value these enterprises at a price that neutralises the cost, so we sell at that cost to the livestock enterprise. But what it also enables you to do is to work, if you're growing hay, for example, if you're growing hay and it's costing you $500 a tonne to grow hay, then obviously you just go down the road, as long as you get a clean source, and buy hay from someone else, just don't dabble in hay. So this also, keeping this enterprise separate, also enables you to measure how that's going. It's a little bit more difficult size because it's not sort of easily sold out of the stack, but that's just the way things are. Okay, a couple other things. Equity. Who's got equity in the business? Who's got less equity in the bank? No, that's that question. That's probably a bit harsh. All right. So let's talk a little bit about equity. What's a safe borrowing rate? Equity position. Right. I'll give you a choice. You can go 100% equity, 80% equity, 60% equity. Who's going with 100%? We all prefer that. Absolutely, I'm going 100%. The rest of you can do whatever you like, but I'm going 100% equity, that's all right. 80%. Who reckons 80% is a pretty good spot to be? Why is that? Are you all guys want 80%? No? Right, let's go on 60%. Pretty nervous for stuff? Yep. Okay, so we'll talk about equity ranges. So over a long time, found basic agriculture businesses, we call this 90 to 100% is cruising. Rightio? So it's probably a bit false in some ways, in that we've got plenty of guys 100% equity who who are not cruising, they're really driving the business, okay? But it's not really optimal for managing tax, and it's not optimal for gearing. If you're running a really good business and you're hunting equity, you can probably do more of it if you're interested in going on that track and get a better financial result longer term, okay? So this is the cruising zone. So optimal is a 75 to 90% is that sort of optimal range. 75%, just remember that one thing today, 75% equity, right? It's pretty much the point for agricultural businesses where you've got 2 really crap years up your sleeve. Now every now and then you're going to get 3, there's not too many businesses that can handle too many in a row. But 75% really means you've got 2 crap years up your sleeve, right? So if you go and buy a farm and it gets you to 65% equity, it's just not a place you want to go. It's just only 2 crap years. So we've, 15 years ago, we had 70% as a safe lending level. And we pulled it up a little bit because for the millennium drought we had some struggles too, and it was just not quite enough of a buffer. Now it's pretty challenging for some places, businesses to get to that level, but once you're there, don't set your sights too low on equity.
So where do you put your person who's leasing company?
Sorry?
Where do you put your person who's leasing company?
Actually, we use the same equity for leasing country.
You never own it.
You never own it? No. If you own land and you're leasing land, we use the same equity position because basically leasing, on average, gives you more cash flow, but it also gives you more risk. Okay, so the reason you lease is because you either don't want to or you can't afford to expand, right? To buy the land, so you lease. But you've got, that should over time give you more income and you lease profit, right? But it also gears up your risk. So we use the same ratio from an equity perspective to build in that extra risk. So if things go to shit on your farm, they go to shit. But if you lease another farm next door and it goes to shit on too, it's not very tight. So that's the way we tend to look at their second percentage regardless of whether you lease or not. Survival zone, you don't really want to be there. This is often the best, this is the most difficult time you'll ever have your farming career. As your equity gets lower, you've got less to lose, so you fight harder to stay. The reality is that survival zone is where you probably should be deciding to go and protect your equity and go and do other things. Having said that, I've seen plenty of businesses survive in here, so if your number one objective is to survive, then you just need to know how to run your farm really well. You need to measure performance really well, you need to make good decisions, you need to make quick decisions, you need to have a livestock plan, you need to run your business really well, because you haven't got that 2 years up your sleeve. 50% is too late. Now, up until 2013, remember 2013 on that last graph was a pretty high yield year. Up to 2013, I've only ever seen 2 businesses in 20 years survive below 50% equity. I don't know how many clients I've dealt with in that period of time, but for my banking days, probably 300 or 400 clients. I've only ever seen 2 businesses survive below 50% equity. So if you're in that position, make sure you measure stuff well, but have a good think about, get some advice, have a good think about where you're at, because it's a pretty tricky place to be. In 2013, I saw 4 more businesses in 1 year go from below 50% equity to mid-60s. Now, 3 of those businesses in the Ravensthorpe zone, which is 200 kilometres west of Esperance, have just had their 3 best years in a row in 30 years. I've got a client there who's never averaged more than 2.3 tonne a week in 30 years of farming. He's gone 4.2, a bit over 3 tonne, and just under 4 tonne, 3 years in a row. And he just doesn't understand where all the money's coming from. It just doesn't make any sense. His kids go, Dad, move on, but he just can't really grasp it. So it's very, very rare, but it does happen. So it's not unsustainable, but you need an awesome amount of things going in your favour. If you're in this position, you need to be talking to someone about it. Rightio, you've got 2 farms here, farm 1, farm 2. No, you'll have to actually think here. Rightio, which one of these 2 businesses would you prefer? Farm 1 or farm 2? Come on, it's not far. Farm 2, right? Farm 2's got 78% equity. Farm 1's got 69. Which one of those guys is going to get the best deal out of their bank? Farm too. He's going to squeeze a little bit, isn't he? Which one's not going to get a good deal out of the bank? Farm one. The bank's saying, well, look, you know, you're doing a good job, you're going along well, but come back to us when you're above 75% equity and we'll talk again. Alright? But right now your margin's 17 or 18%. Is that right? No, I think that's a bit harsh. Alright. So here's a bit of a trick with equity. Understand equity, right? These two businesses are in fact the same business. They have exactly the same value of equity. The only difference I've shown here is that this fella here had 830 grand worth of grain cash contracts that arrived on the 2nd of February, and he did his balance sheet on the 1st of February. Okay, that's the only difference. So he's got an asset which is higher, and his overdraft is higher, and his equity looks crap. 2 days later, he would have no asset, it's gone, but his overdraft dropped by $830,000. His equity 78%. So think a little bit about your equity, the way you present yourself to the bank, because, you know, it seems like a silly thing and surely everyone would be across this, but it's quite important. So what we do in our business is we show this raw, what's called raw equity position that most of you are used to, but we always quote your net equity position. So we take the liabilities, we take off outstanding cash contracts, we take off grain on farm that you could have sold yesterday, we take off FMDs you've only done for tax management purposes, we take that off your net debt so everyone's prepared on the same basis. Because you don't want to present yourself like this and have a hard time negotiating with the bank. You know, present it as it is. Not the NAB would be hard to deal with. Very easy going. Right, so leasing, we're going to talk about this. Leasing. Anyone leasing land? Yep, there's a bit of it going around. Okay, cool. Why do we lease land? Because you can't buy? That's fast, isn't it? Well, or you don't want the risks of ownership. Okay. Or you made a decision the land's too expensive relative to what I can earn. I'm better off leasing it than I am owning it. Okay, good call. Well, they won't sell it. Yeah, that's right. Yep, no, that's very cool too. So there's capital risk. If you buy that land and things don't go well, you might actually have to sell it at a discount. If things go really bad in a couple of years and you've geared yourself at a very low equity level, it might be just we actually have to sell some land and you've got a capital risk as well that can have a greater impact on your original equity base. So, you know, there's capital risk associated with leasing. Generally speaking, people lease it because they won't be sold, so it's only access they have to it. They want to gear up, they prefer to buy. At the moment, rightio. What does it cost to buy land in Forbes? Let's get out of town a little bit. $1,000 an acre, right? $1,000 an acre. Oh, we'll get off the river. That's a little bit, that's almost cheating, really, isn't it? So $1,000 an acre, right? At the moment, if you're going to borrow it from Vicky up here back at NAB Bank, what's she going to charge you for interest? Oh, maybe charge you. Depends on the equity, of course. So what's a fair stab at the borrowing rate at the moment? 6%? Makes it easy?
Or you make 5%.
Make it 5%, that's easy for me. 5%, right? So it's going to cost you, in interest, $50 an acre. Sorry, is that right? Yeah, $50 an acre. Right, yeah. If you had to lease it for a country that's $1,000 an acre, what would you have to pay as a lease at the moment? Well, $30. $30 an acre? $1,000 an acre country? Yeah? 30, 40 something. 30, 40? So we'll go 40. Okay, right out. So that's a pretty good going, really, on that sort of country, isn't it? So there's a bit of a choice you're making here. If those two are the same, would you prefer to lease it or own it? firm, you can set up your rotations, it's you got control over it, unless it's going to send you broke. Right? If it's going to put your equity below 75%, you know, there's time. Either it might be a really good opportunity for you to actually need to borrow at a lower equity percentage, and you go and fixing rates for long term, you go and have a look at how you can manage that risk a bit. But basically, you're taking 75% equity, you don't want to do it because it might burn you. You just might not be here in 5 years' time. So, you know, we all get in this sort of rush where we need to have it, we need to have it, we need to have it, you know. So, but it's not always like that. How do you work out your lease price? 5% of value. Are you a real estate agent? Okay, so that would make sense. This is only what, 4% of value, isn't it? Okay, so this 5% of value, I think, is a little bit scary. Real estate agents love this 5% of value, right? The problem with 5% of value, if your land doubles in price, your profitability next year is no different to it was yesterday. So I think it's a little bit risky relying on this assumption. Real estate agents love it. They really push this stuff, right? And it's worth so much. You know, maybe $300 an acre more than it's worth, but it's worth so much, and 5% you have to pay this. You know, okay, right, yeah. So the way I work out a lease price is I just work out what income I'm going to get, what are the variable costs it's going to take to run it. I'm going to wear out machinery going next door and leasing it. So I add on the depreciation allowance, might be about $25 a hectare, and then I end up with a profit. And what I say is I'm not prepared to pay more than half my profit in an average year for that lease country. So if that comes out at $100,000 profit, oops, million, isn't it? Something smaller, and it's 50 grand is all I'm paying. If that 50 grand divided through comes out at $80 an acre, I'll try and negotiate a lower price. If it comes out at $30 an acre, I'll say, look, you know, you can push me to 32 or 33, but I'm not prepared to have more than 50% of my profit every year. Right? Now I saw this through the early 2000s. The late 90s were awesome in WA, fantastic. And clients were going along, powering along, doing great things. And then land started getting scarce, everyone wanted it. And so we started paying 65, 70, 75% of the profit as lease payments. And the millennium drought for us, it stitched up all those businesses that paid high leases. You know, so just have a bit of discipline in this. Try and avoid the salesman and try and focus on what you're going to make. You know, it's not a hard complication. Yield times price. I know what it costs me to grow it. What's the depreciation? Normally the owner pays rates where I come from, but that's negotiable. So if you've got rates, you've got to add rates in there, and then you work out the average profit and divide by 2 and say, look, you're not prepared to pay more than 50% of profit. Takes a little bit of discipline, and it's very frustrating when not, you know, particularly you've got Eric as your advisor, and you just everyone's leasing land flat out over the fence, and you know, I'm just going, no, you know, just let it go. You know, it's not a very comfortable experience, and sometimes it'll come unstuck. It might have the best thing they can do. You have 3 good years, and they get a big jump. It's awesome. You missed out an opportunity, but that's the risk you take in terms of not trying not to go broke. Obviously, you want this lease for long term, and you'd love to have an option to purchase. You're prepared to lease it if you're thinking that it's all right enough to own. If you're going to be in a good enough position to own it, you want the first shot at it. What do you call it over here? First right of refusal? Is that the right words? So. Rightio. So, just decided to buy the land instead of leasing it. Okay? Who's going with the purchase? Sorry? Who's going to buy that? This is just testing whether you're taking the one message I've given you. I probably wouldn't, because 69% equity is below my 75% threshold. Okay? I've seen plenty of businesses do really well at that sort of gearing. Unfortunately, some do come unstuck. And so just that risk level, set your own parameters, know where you stand, and be a bit cautious. Rightio. Who does share farming? Oh, you guys do bloody everything. leasing, share farming? So a bit of share farming going on. What sort of share farming? Land only share farming?
Yeah.
Or shared cost share farming?
No, it was shared costs. Basically, we wore all the costs and then we took the costs out to finish and split the profit.
Okay, rightio. So do you have any of these, is it at a percentage basis?
Yeah.
If you're doing a profit, awesome, that's excellent. Okay, a lot of the share farming agreements I've seen, I'm not sure you've seen them, we've seen this 2080s. 20%. Sorry, off. Anyone heard of 2080 agreements? Right. In where I come from, Esperance, we call them 1783s or 1882s. These ones here in Esperance because the consulting practice we bought, a couple of old fellas who were getting out, and most of their 1882s, 1783s were agreements they'd done between fathers and sons, and now the district norm is to have an 18% or a 17% agreement. Okay? So what I do, I always convert these to a lease. Okay? Anyone got any idea how you're going to convert that to a lease? So let's say you grow 3 tonne a week. At what's a reasonable price for a week? 250? Who's got a calculator? Anyone got a calculator? Well, it just so happens I have a couple. Now I've got a pin calculator. Why do I have a pin calculator? Absolutely guaranteed no one's going to steal it. Rightio. 3 tonne, 3 times 250, 750 bucks a hectare, right? At 20%. What's 20% of 750 bucks? 150? $150 a hectare, which equals how much an acre? Divided by 2.4711. Someone with a calculator? 60 bucks an acre. Cheap or expensive? Depends on the value of land, it depends where you are, okay? So, but this is, it's simple enough to convert it back. Now, it's not, basically that's how it works. Normally there's a little bit of cost of the share farm to come out of this. And normally freight, sort of silo and his levies and stuff like that to come out of it. So sometimes it's freighted for him by you, sometimes not. But work it back. In our area, 17% is too expensive. In actual fact, to me, every time I do it, it comes back around something like 15%. And when I try to get a share farm agreement 15%, everyone's nah, everyone's paying 18%. Good, let them go for it. Because you can lease this country quite often for about 40 bucks an acre, but under a share farming agreement, you sort of don't notice it, just goes out, you're paying 60. Okay, so just be cautious of 20% agreements, make sure you work them out. Work out that they're reasonable and then compare it back to a lease price. Now, share farms are a little bit different than a lease. Number one, you pay it all at the end because you deliver the grain. You don't pay it as you go, quarterly or half yearly. So there's a bit of interest discounting going on. There's also the sharing of risk factor. If it goes to shit, you only get 1 tonne, or you're only going to pay 20 bucks an acre. If it goes 6 tonne, you're going to pay a substantially higher figure again, and you wish like you'd leased it, but you still make money out of it because it's such a good season. Right. So just watch, it's pretty simple to work out, but just be aware, if you've got an opportunity to go share farming, sometimes you might not be able to lease a property next door, and the fellow just won't be in it. Okay? But because there's an accountant over here, he's saying, look, don't lease it, you need a share farming agreement because we've got to manage the tax implications of getting out of this place and selling gear and stuff like that. So the share farm used to have prime production status, so hold on to that. So sometimes you have to go share farming to get the opportunity, but just make sure you compare it to a lease. Make sense? Anyone violently disagree? Geez, you're placid.
Do you do any grants in rainfall, like this whole year? Leases at all?
Generally the ones we've done that vary the season mostly are at capital at a certain level, also over a certain level you have a share of profit. But generally only on the upside, not the downside. But no, not growing seasons and rainfall. No. Okay, that's pretty interesting. So you just convert that to an average yield. Yeah. Okay, that's a good profit sharing idea. Yeah. Gives you a bit of protection if you stuck over, of course. Okay, finally, machinery performance. Just to touch on some stuff to do. About 4 years ago, one of the fellows in our business said, "Oh, we should do this machinery performance. We've got stuff," and I thought, "Oh, it's these new young fellas coming in all the time. They're wasting our time to do some more measures or something we don't understand." This actually has been really, really good for my clients in terms of just assessing where they're at and focusing on-farm productivity. So what this is basically, it's just look how many hectares you get done a day while you're seeding, what's your average speed, and then you can measure the efficiency, okay? Because if what the 100% basically says, if you drive that machine at that width and that speed for 100% of the hours, for all the 20 hours in a day, that's without stopping, without refilling anything, that's the maximum the machine can do. How close is your efficiency in terms of getting to that? Okay, that's all this efficiency. So it's never going to be 100%, right? But it's just one way to benchmark how you're going to what we think typical efficiency or how you're going to average. Now, if anyone's looked at this half and want to try and work that out, that's actually efficiency based on two headers. So if you think it held 200 hectares a day, this guy's doing pretty well, that's because it's two headers, but it gives you the same efficiency measure. The really interesting thing here is, particularly one of my guys, in a low rainfall zone, a place called Hyden, he has trouble getting labour. He had a fellow who's a really good burn spray operator for about 10 years and he retired. And he's having trouble finding anyone who's got the skills to run that burn spray. And his efficiency was appalling. He's running 150 foot per hour rig. It should be a very efficient operation, but it's not. So what he's actually done as a part of this here is he now pre-batches. He just employs a driver on the burn spray. He gives him a tank full in the morning and he goes and parks a truck with 2 more tankfuls on agitation in the paddock. And there's just no downtime on the machine. He just goes, when it's time to go, he goes. When he's doing it himself in summer, he goes out there, his wife drops the truck out there and that's all right to go. So just thinking about the efficiency one here, it's a good way to focus you on the right things in your business to be changing over thinking about. But just some stuff we've been playing around with. No worries, that's all I've got.